bringing you the latest news, game updates, insights, highlights, and everything Liberty Hockey. This is Rock the Rink, where Liberty Hockey lives.
Welcome to the Rock the Rink podcast. We told you we had a special guest, and we do. President of Liberty University, Dondi Costin. President Costin, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Great to be here. Thanks a lot.
All right, we're going to start off here. I've got a scenario for you. Kind of, you go to sleep at night and think about what ifs sometimes in life, right? I don't know. Have you ever heard of Pavel Datsyuk? He played for the Detroit Red Wings, real skilled player.
Not till just now, but keep going.
Yeah,
keep going.
Fair. He had a move. He had a shootout move called the Datsyuk. It went after his name. And I was thinking about your name, Dondi, and I was just like, he should have been a hockey player. The Dondi just sounds like a great move for a hockey player.
Where have you been all my life? If I could have had a hockey move named after me, then that would have been amazing.
Maybe we can get a Liberty guy to come up with a move next year.
It's not too late.
Yeah, that would be excellent.
Yeah.
When you came onto Liberty's campus and you found out about the hockey program they had, and the following too, you're getting 2,500 to 3,000 people per night. What were your initial thoughts?
It's crazy. I mean, it literally is crazy. I'd heard about hockey here for a long time because it is legendary. But to imagine that hockey is such a prominent thing here and has such a history here at Liberty is pretty incredible, and it's difficult to explain to people. Yeah. And I would say to them, "Oh, you would not believe the hockey experience." And we have 5 teams, and I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" It's like, no, you have to experience it. And so one of the great joys we have had as people have come to visit us, and hockey season, as you know, is long.
Oh, yes.
And so we have a lot of opportunities to have people come to hockey games. And typically, we will say, hey, we're going to go see a basketball game, then a football game, and then we'll wind up with a hockey game. And maybe it's going to be at midnight. And by the time they leave, they're exhausted. I was like, no, this is life at Liberty. Yeah.
Do midnight games wreck you like they wreck us?
Yes. I have the same advice to midnight hockey as I would give to coffee house here at Liberty. I said coffee house, which I've attended twice now, one per semester. Coffee house is great. Let's not, it is phenomenal. Well, it's good. It's really good. At 11:30, it would be great at 8 p.m. I think you would have, and it's right. It's right before church, and the next day, it's. But yeah, it does wreck me. Yeah, and I'm a night owl, but I'm married to not a night owl.
Okay. Yeah. Me and Rhett, we always talk, and because we are older, he has a lot more kids than I do, so I know it wrecks him.
And a Ford van.
That's
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he gets up and it's like, it was great.
Yeah,
I could do
to be in my 20s again, oh boy.
Yeah, it doesn't hit me as hard as you guys, but Rhett's, the third period, he starts to talk about it. I wish I was in my bed right now, but here we go.
Yeah, I mentioned that here or there. Yes.
Yeah, well, I can understand that. Yeah, but again, I'm a night owl, so I'm fine.
Okay,
but
good stuff.
Vicky, not so much.
No.
Yeah.
Having been to so many sporting events here at Liberty, can you just kind of recreate what was the sort of first reaction of stepping into the ice rink and seeing so many students and just so many people from the South out to support hockey?
Yeah, it's amazing, really. I mean, even though you see the building, I'd been in the building before, and Kirk and others had tried to tell me, now you're not going to believe it. And I didn't believe it, just the lines going around the building and the people coming in. And let's face it, hockey fans are excited. All right, and so banging on the glass, and there's a couple of females who come down there. They take their place always, and they always have the cool jerseys, and they're beating on the glass, and it's an incredible thing to see parents from all over at least North America, all over the world really, the world who come to see their favorite hockey players play, to see students and others who had never really heard of hockey until they showed up on campus. Maybe like you, all right?
That's right.
Like you're from California, and you read books about hockey, and
read the books.
You can't even tell your friends that you're reading hockey books, so you think they'll disown you.
Yeah, they would.
But it's amazing. Yeah, it really is unbelievable, and so that's why we've had such a great time bringing our friends and family who come to visit us, and we arrange their trip so that they can see hockey because they don't believe it either.
Well, I can imagine. And so now, along those lines of attending sporting events, Liberty is a very special place, and we're very proud of the dining options, the concession options we have here. So a little bit more of a lighthearted question. What has been the one food item or the one thing that you've had at a Liberty event that just kept you up thinking about it at night? We're like, oh, I need to have a little bit more of that next time I'm at a game.
Yeah, I've had several.
Oh, okay.
And so anytime I can get a rookie, in my mouth, I'm good to go. Yeah. The kettle corn is always amazing. Probably the most unusual thing I've had is out here for a tailgate event out in this parking lot right out here. There's a regional soft drink, and so it's going to sound like an alcoholic drink. It is, and I'm a teetotaler, just so we're clear. It's called Cheerwine.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Cheerwine is a regional soft drink, and so one of the youth pastors over at Thomas Road, he has a specialty. He makes Cheerwine chili.
Is this the bucket hat guys?
It is. Well, they're right out here.
Okay,
yeah,
good stuff. I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. So they and one of the guys also made Cheerwine cake, which is pretty. I mean, it's incredible. They should market this stuff. So those are the things that have I think about often. Yeah.
Great.
Cheerwine chili and Cheerwine cake.
Oh, I love it.
I will say, being from California, I'd never had Cheerwine until my friend brought it up for me from North Carolina.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, they need to make that a nationwide thing.
Why don't they?
I don't. Yeah, it's
I mean,
time.
I'm a North Carolinian, and of course I drank it growing up. Have you ever had Sundrop?
No.
It's a North Carolina drink too. You got to have Sundrop. It's like Mountain Dew, only better.
Okay.
All right. So
it is solid. My mom was a North Carolina girl, so I've had a couple of these. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And then, so just along the lines of the club sports events that you've been to, obviously you've been to a ton of hockey, but then also, I mean, lacrosse is big, volleyball's big. Just the club sports program here at Liberty is really incredible. What do you like? How important do you feel like it is for this program, just to the culture of Liberty athletics as a whole? How much of an impact do you feel like it has?
It's amazing because it has such an impact on the culture of the university and for the experience of the student. And so you probably know this, others may not, but the retention rate for a student in a club sport is like 97%. And the GPA of club sports, broadly speaking, is among the highest cumulative in the aggregate, in a cumulative way, of any other kind of group. I mean, I haven't compared club sports to like the honors college, but I probably could. And so the fact that we have so many club sports, we have 20 NCAA Division I sports, but we have like 44 club sports of any kind of variety you can imagine. And the involvement that those club sports bring, and a student can have in the club sport, the fact that they have facilities that are amazing, coaches that are world class, all the things that any NCAA Division I student athlete would have, you get as a club sport athlete. It's amazing. Yeah. The number one retention tool here, I think, probably could be club sports. And so if somebody tells me that they're in a club sport, I'm like, I'm not worried about you. Because you got somebody checking up on your academics, you have a coach who pours into your life, you have cool gear, you have great facilities, you get to travel nationally, you get to represent the university. All of those things that are critical to a student's experience happen in club sports in ways that are really unbelievable. Again, it's one of these other things that I have a hard time explaining to people. And I just say, listen, you just have to come and see. Come and see. And if you're a student athlete, you're going to be recruited just like you're a Division I athlete. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. And if you could be a club sports athlete for any sport here, which one would it be?
Oh, great question.
Something to do with running.
Okay.
Oh, triathlon.
Okay, yeah.
Something to do with running. I've said on other occasions I would be a great triathlete. were it not for the swimming and the biking portion of the event. I mean, I'd be really good, but it's those other two things that sort of put me off my game.
And is that from the military past of just you've had to run so many miles, or was that just kind of an always natural thing for you?
Yeah, I was, like every other North Carolina kid, boy. I was, we didn't have swimming, we didn't have all these other things, but so you played football, basketball, and baseball in that order, and you did all three.
Yeah.
There was no travel ball.
Yeah.
There was no there were off seasons actually. In the summer, you could actually play with your friends. You didn't have to travel and do all these sorts of things, or I work with my dad too. So, that's what I did. And so it was fine until I got to be in about the 10th grade, and everybody else kept getting bigger. I didn't. And so I was like, this is not going to work out for me. So I started running. Yeah. So it was a matter of necessity at that point.
Now, you played trumpet as well, right?
Oh, I did play trumpet.
Okay.
Yeah. I played trumpet, started in 7th grade, played all the way up through the 2nd year of college at the Air Force Academy in the Drum and Bugle Corps. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Now, I know the story about how you, in fact, got to watch MJ play. You were at every game. That's amazing. Can you tell us about that experience? I know it's not hockey related, but this is you get to watch Michael Jordan play high school basketball.
I mean, to think, because you don't think this in high school. Like, I went to high school with the GOAT.
Yeah.
Like the GOAT.
Yes.
Like people around here are wearing a silhouette on their shirts. I have some that of a guy I went to high school with. I mean, you just don't how does this even happen? So, and when you're in high school, he's like a really nice guy. He's obviously good at basketball, but you don't think, here's the next.
Right.
Like now, what do they say? Whatever sport it is, here's the next Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says, here's the next Dondi Costin. Yeah, nobody says that. No, nobody in my high school says that. They all say, oh, could this be the next Michael Jordan? So it was cool because he's just a regular guy. I'm the same age as his sister Roslyn. Michael was a year older than we were. He has a much older brother who retired from the Army, was a command sergeant major, the highest possible enlisted rank in the Army of 33 years. He has another brother named Larry who is about my height, but he could dunk the basketball.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I could not.
Okay.
At least not unaided by a little trampoline.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you just don't think about it. So I think the first time that we realized that, oh my gosh, this is something, was when he became McDonald's High School All-American.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw in our senior year, we saw legendary Coach Dean Smith sitting in our stands in our little basketball gym at the high school. And you're like, yeah, this is not. But then even then you don't think, he's going to go start for Carolina. One of the only handful of guys in the history of North Carolina who ever starts. You think, okay, well, that's pretty good. And then he makes the winning shot to in his freshman year to give Carolina the victory in the Final Four in the championship game. You just don't think this is going to happen to a high school kid that you grew up with. Played in the same little league with. Grew up. My house is a mile and a half from here. That kind of thing. It just doesn't. I would have had him sign papers earlier. If you're ever worth $1 billion, you have to give me 10%. Because then he probably would have. Because who would think? Missed opportunity.
No, that's amazing. Great stuff.
We'll get into missions here in a moment, but if you've ever traveled overseas to the Holy Lands, they'll have, here's where the Apostle Paul did this. Here's where Jesus did that. Whatever. Are there any holes in walls or pillars or anything like that where this is what Michael Jordan kicked or punched when he got cut from the basketball team?
No. Michael,
like that?
I think Michael Jordan, because he's so competitive, I think him getting cut in the 10th grade, not making varsity in the 10th grade, which would be unusual. Most 10th graders don't make the varsity, but it's Michael Jordan, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that he got cut in the 10th grade is what made him Michael Jordan. I mean, I think because he's so competitive, he vowed that'll never happen again, and it didn't. He's amazing basketball player. Yeah, he's the GOAT.
There we go. And something I really want to highlight for a lot of people so they could just kind of get at your heart and really understand who you are is I'm I show up to the ice rink. We're about to send the boys off, our men's hockey team going over to Finland for their missions trip. And then there's some rumblings start rolling around that President Costin's going to show up. And it is early. And you just had a whirlwind 48, 72 hours flying across the country and coming back. So just kind of recap that time from you're about to head off to the bowl game, you get back, you show up in our locker room and pray the boys out, and just really, really showed your heart in my mind of how missions-minded, how Christ-focused you were. Just such an incredible, special time and moment for me getting to witness that. But for the listeners and viewers at home, just to describe that whole experience of you go to the bowl game, you get back. Just recap that all for us, please.
Yeah, we it's what Liberty University is all about. Since 1971, we have this slogan that we think is more than just a slogan: training champions for Christ. And it is what it is. It is what we say it is, and it's the most important thing we do. And so the fact that Liberty University would take a bunch of hockey dudes, and turn them into missionaries is exactly what Liberty University is all about. And so I don't know the Christian commitments that every single one of them had when they showed up to Liberty, but I do know the degree to which coaches and staff members and trainers and others pour into them, and the opportunity they then have to go to Finland, of all places, and use hockey as a vehicle to share the gospel, and not only amongst other people, but amongst themselves. And so there were some hockey players themselves who renewed commitments to Christ on the trip, because what better way to do that than when you're serving other people? That's when you realize what your life is all about. Is that it really isn't about you. I mean, everything that Jesus said is actually true.
Yeah.
And your life begins the moment you're conceived and never ends. Yeah, your earthly life will end, and you will be put into a grave at some point. But your life, your soul never ends. Your soul, as a Christian, certainly goes to be with the Lord. And so that perspective on life, and what better way to learn it as a very competitive, highly aggressive hockey player than to know that your entire life really is not just about hockey. It's about how you can use your gifts and talents to share the gospel with other people. And that's what Liberty does.
And such an impactful trip with the baptisms we had, the salvations, and then just the impact that the men were able to have within the city of Hämeenlinna over there in Finland, and then some surrounding cities. It was just absolutely incredible. And you were too humble there, so I'll brag for you. Issues in travel a little bit getting out to Arizona.
Sure.
Okay. And then the whole bowl game experience on our football team's New Year's Six Bowl. I can only imagine the hands that you had to shake, and you had to be on the entire time.
Sure.
Travel back, and then again, very early morning, you show up at the ice rink under the weather, I may add, but you were there, prayed for everybody. You made sure you acknowledged every single person getting on that bus heading over there. Just it is incredibly refreshing, and is incredibly that's somebody I want to follow and lead, to have just a guy who's about it. So just thank you for that. And I know all the men, as they were stepping onto that bus, and our support staff, like that was so impactful. And I think really kind of kicked the trip off to the high marks that it eventually was led to.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. It means a lot, but it really is an honor, an honor to have this job, to be associated with excellence in every quarter. It's just phenomenal to see and to hear what happened over there. It was great.
Awesome. Kurt talked a little bit about you, but we can even in this interview, like, not only see your heart, but like your intentionality, right? Like, so it's no surprise that we've seen you at some of the bigger ticket events, like obviously men's hockey, men's lacrosse, but we've seen you at also men's D3 hockey, women's D2 hockey. You prayed for the disc golf team as they left for nationals as well, which was awesome. But like, talk a little about your intentionality, like, because obviously it's super important for you to be involved with the student body and show your intentionality. But like, when did that start in life for you as well?
Yeah, you can't do everything that you would want to do. You wish you could. I wish I could be at all, we try to be at everything.
Yeah.
But at some point, 20 NCAA Division I teams and 44, 64. I mean, it's impossible at some point. So what we try to do, and I appreciate you using the word intentionality, because that's what Vicky and I do the best we can to try to let everyone know, whether it's a theater production or a musical production or a club or whatever it is, that we want to make sure that they know that we're there supporting them. Because these 4 years here at Liberty University are, for most people, are going to be the most impactful 4 years of their life. And it is such an honor to be part of this. And so we try at the beginning of the week, we early on we asked the student life, student activities guy. He sends us a schedule, and Kirk sends us a schedule, and we do the best we can to figure out how we can get to where we're going. And of course, I have a Flames app, and I know who's playing when. And so on Sunday, it was softball and baseball and tennis, and I know what times they are, and we do our best to get to as many things as we can, because it is important that that students know that we love football, we love basketball, but there's so much more to Liberty University than those things. And so every club sport, every club, every academic enterprise, every event is important to the students who are involved, because students plan most of these events. They make it happen. They work their magic, and it's been great for us to see all the things that Liberty University is. And so I appreciate using the word intentionality. That's the way we approach it. And sometimes we fail miserably, but we do the best that we can. And it really is the most enjoyable part of the job. When people say, hey, what's it like to be president of Liberty University? I say, it's mostly fun. There are some not fun parts, but that's true of any job. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and you talk about the joy that it brings you. I mean, when you get to talk to these athletes and have such a unique impact on them, I mean, how much fulfillment does it give you to be able to pour into their lives in this kind of way?
Well, it really is the most fun part of the job. And so I'm looking at, and Vicki and I are looking at the next 10 years of our life. How do we want to engage in the next 10 years of our life? Because 10 years from now, I probably won't have as much energy as I do today. I probably will have aches and pains I don't have today. People will be telling me at that point, if the Lord leaves us here that long, people will be telling them, they do it subtly. They start asking, so when do you think you're going to retire? Like, whoa, what are you telling me? And so we just want to make sure that we are making the most of the opportunity that we have. And some of it's pacing. Some of it's making sure that we maintain our own spiritual and physical discipline, so that we have the energy that we need. Vicky is a very good compliment to me, because if I'm asked to do something, my response is always yes. I mean, I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know how the schedule is going to work, but I have, Vicky, she's a lot more realistic. And so what she's accused me of our entire marriage, she invented a word, and the word is stacking. Stacking the schedule. Yeah. Like I will say, we've been asked to do 5 things, and here's how we can do it. We can do this first and this for half the game, and we can go see this event and that event. And she says, whoa, you're stacking. And we got to make sure that, we have time for ourselves, and we have time to re-energize and all of that. So we're put together well. And I also get to work with a couple of we'll call them executive assistants because that's what the system calls them. But they're really coaches, mentors, teachers to say, no, you can't do everything. You have to have boundaries. And I'll say, why? So it's a good mix. But it's difficult to say no because, to your point, the joy of being with a parent or being with a student athlete or a theater person or a music person, and having them express their gifts, whether it's on ice or in a theater production or in playing a trumpet. Then all those things we get to witness up close and personal. And for most hockey players here, they're going to go do something else. Mm-hmm. For most trumpet players here, they're not going to play trumpet for a living. They might be a teacher. Some of them will perform. For most theater, performers, they're going to do other things, most likely, just statistically. And so that's the joy, is seeing the excellence they have in all of those things, knowing that they're going to take that attitude and that mindset and that resilience and that faith commitment and the joy they get from that, and they're going to share that with others. Yeah. That's the cool thing. Yeah. It really is.
Staying on the topic of you and your wife, is she a sports fan as well? And then
she is.
Kind of add on to that, if you're doing something not Liberty related, not Liberty sports related, what is a fun go away kind of refreshing moment that you guys like to do together?
Let's see. We love the beach.
Okay.
Yeah, we love the beach. So a day on the beach is like 10 days in the mountains.
Okay.
I mean, so that's the way it works.
Right.
We love the mountains, but there's something about the beach that really gets us going. You're in California.
Yeah,
you understand. You understand. I don't know what it is, and I think the Lord has made mountain people and beach people, because if everybody was a mountain person, think how crowded it would be in the mountains. Yeah. Or if everybody was a beach person, think how crowded it would be on the beach. So something about the beach. I grew up about 7 miles, 5 miles as the crow flies from the beach. Spent a lot of time in the summer on the beach. Vicky grew up in a place called Fort Walton Beach, Florida, where her mom still lives, and so there's something about the beach, and so that's the thing that we really enjoy. We like going to Liberty sports events in person. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We like watching every other sport event on TV. Yeah. So I and Vicky grew up in a household where her father was a big Alabama fan, mostly football. Yes. But Vicky has grown in her appreciation of all sports over the last, in June we will have been married 35 years, and that's excellent. So I grew up with a mom who screamed at the TV, yelling at basketball, and my dad was an athlete, his whole life. So
awesome. Do you surf then?
I don't surf.
Okay,
I have surfed, but I don't surf, and I we lived in Hawaii for 3 years.
Oh wow!
So that was great.
Very neat.
So you've been to a lot of events, and we've talked about a lot of athletic events. Yes. All athletes have routines, right? Like, got to do this, got to do that. So you do a lot of events. What is you and Vicky's routine prior to getting there? Because like Kerr and Red and Annie have talked about, once you're there, you're on.
You're there.
You got to be the guy.
Yeah. It starts with pre-week planning.
Okay.
All right, and so we have a schedule. We know what things are happening, and frankly, in our household, it's a negotiation. And I lead with, hey, we can do all of this. There's no reason we can't do all of this. And so I've stacked it like a Tetris puzzle, again, her word stacking, and we can do all of this. So we can do this night and this the other night, and on Saturday we can catch 3, maybe 4. If we need to, and Sunday after church we can do these things, her negotiating tactic is no, we're gonna, and so we meet in the middle, somewhere, and frankly, she usually attends more events than in a week than she thought she was going to attend as the week began. So she is literally, I use this word intentionally. She's a good sport, and she does love sports, and she loves Liberty students, and so that's why it's not as hard in the end. And so then once we figure out what the game plan is for the week, the next thing is figuring out food. So how do I get from my work and my meetings and all of that, how do I get to the house, have enough time to eat some food, and then go to an evening event, And so, again, so it's not just sports, it's theater productions and music and other things. Like tonight, she was an elementary music teacher for 23 years, and so tonight she's speaking to the Music Educators Club.
Wow.
And I'll be there in the back, cheering her on, but she'll be talking about her experience as a teacher, and they'll be asking questions and all of that. Yeah.
Very cool.
So, yeah. And then there's a bedtime situation going on there. That's why midnight games are a little bit harder.
I believe it. You're going to need some Cheerwine chili frozen packs for it.
Now we're talking.
Microwave quick.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, this could happen.
So we are on the Rock the Rink podcast, so kind of your send-off kind of question here. It is a very long season. There are many teams that we have here at Liberty. You've attended a lot of games. There have been a lot of great moments. If you kind of look back on this last hockey season, what would be kind of a favorite moment or a favorite game if you kind of think of one or kind of pinpoint a specific
this
moment?
is going to be very personal, and this could have only happened once.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to use this as to answer your question. When I went to college, I went to the U.S. Air Force Academy.
Yeah.
And the years that I was at the U.S. Air Force Academy, we became very, very good. And so my senior year in football, again, I was in the band. But my senior year in football, we only lost one game, barely lost to BYU, and we beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl and wound up 5th in the nation.
Wow.
So I graduated in 1986, but a graduate in the class of 1984, our star quarterback, a guy named Marty Louthan. Marty Louthan was like, Caden Salter.
Okay.
So he was our Caden Salter. He was our Malik Willis. He was the man. Yeah. And he was, because at the Air Force Academy, you don't really go play professional football. You go fly airplanes. And so Marty Louthan was drafted, which was shocking because he wasn't able to go play. But he was drafted to be a quarterback in the NFL, but then he went to pilot training and all that. So all these years passed. Marty Louthan, believe it or not, is the father-in-law of DJ Schwenke.
No way.
Whoa!
What? No, that.
Wow, that is full circle.
I'm getting chill bumps.
Yeah.
Whoa!
So I got to meet in this box right over here at a hockey game. I got to meet Marty Louthan. Now I'd met his all of his kids because all of his kids had come out here. He's got one kid out here who's flying. He's got one kid out here who's a nurse married to DJ, nursing student married to DJ. And I got to meet the others, but I got to meet the Marty. It's like the Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding here. I mean, so it was like meeting Michael Jordan. But what are the odds? What are the odds that the father-in-law of one of our starters, senior, going off to go do great things, is the star quarterback of an obscure place from 1984 at the U.S. Air Force Academy? What are the odds of this?
Yeah, I know
this
that.
is. I mean, this is totally
So cool.
mind blowing. But I got to meet Marty Louthan and his wife at a hockey game, and we cheered together for the Flames. I mean, that was. I don't even know what the odds are.
Yeah.
It was mind blowing, and I'll never forget it.
That's really
Never forget
Incredible.
it. Yeah.
I'll be sure to send you the link for the baby registry, and then you can buy a gift for the grandchild.
Yes.
Of Marty Laupin. Yeah.
Which I assume they'll name Dondi.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean,
why
has a D in it, like
Yeah.
DJ. I mean,
Yeah, I like it.
Exactly. That's perfect.
Well, President Costa, it's been a joy. Thank you for coming on. Hopefully, we can get you on maybe
Pleasure.
next year as well.
Yeah.
This has been good.
Yeah, nothing next year will top the Marty Lauthin experience,
exactly.
Can't top
but
that.
we'll come up with something.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Great stuff.
God
Thank you,
bless
Ken.
y'all. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it a bunch.
Yeah.
Go Flames.